everyone. I'm Rebecca Sweet with Garden Design, and welcome to my Zone 9 garden located in Northern California. I've been designing gardens for others for over 20 years, and one thing I've noticed is when mentioning bulbs, most people think of spring and summer blooming bulbs like daffodils and tulips and alliums, but 9 out of 10 times people are not thinking about fall blooming bulbs, which is such a shame because they're such a great way to elevate your fall border. Now, I'll be honest, there's not a whole lot from which to choose, but there's enough that you can use to really create some magic in your garden. Now, when I'm talking about plants or bulbs, I've come up with something called the 3 W's, which really makes it easy for people to sort of make these decisions about what to plant and where to plant them. So I want to use a few sections of my garden today to share with you how I use this concept of the 3 W's to help you make some decisions. Now, the first area we're talking about is right here in this part of my garden. And it's pretty. I have this beautiful stone pathway that sort of bisects the garden in two. Now, right now in the fall, I have a lot happening on this side of the garden with beautiful red flowers and not much happening on this side of the garden. So that's the why. The why is I want to create some balance so I have red on both sides of the garden. So let's go a little deeper into the garden bed and I'll share with you what I'm talking about. Right here, I have this beautiful, huge pineapple sage. Every year it starts cranking out the flowers, these beautiful red tubular flowers, and it starts, oh gosh, probably in October, lasting all the way into December in my climate. So I've got that beautiful batch of red, and then over here, I've got the beautiful kind of orangey red flowers of the Bouvardia, also known as firecracker bush. So I've got lots of red on this side of the bed, but then if we pan over here, I don't have a whole lot of flowers. In fact, I don't see any flowers. I see lots of foliage, which is in beautiful colors. I've got the blue, green, gray, bright green, but no flowers, much less no red. And so what I want to do is create some balance and put red on this side of the pathway so it sort of ties in with the red on this side of the pathway. Where would I put it? Well, I'm thinking I'm going to put it in this container here. And the reason is because if I stand about here and I look out, this is the view that I have from my kitchen window. So I really want to see some balance. I want to see red on this side of the pathway, red on this side of the pathway. So I'm going to experiment with the bulbs, put them in this container to see if I like them right there. And if I do, I'll either plant them in the ground next year, or I'll plant them somewhere else, or I'll even buy more and kind of sprinkle around on this side of the garden bed. Okay, so we've talked about the why, which is you want to create balance on both sides of the pathway. We talked about the where, which is in this container here. Now let's talk about the what. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, there's not a whole lot of fall blooming bulbs from which to choose, and that list gets even smaller for us that live in warm climates because we don't have the winter chill that so many bulbs require to produce blooms. But we do have spider lilies. These are great, and they're red. They're wonderful. They're oversized, they're big, they make a statement. They start blooming at the very end of summer, early autumn, and would look fantastic in that container, creating that color echo with the fall blooming red flowers on that side of the pathway. So let's go to a different part of my garden and I'll show you another example. Okay, so here we are in a different part of my garden, and I want to really emphasize this amazing, huge shrub right here, which is a salvia, fall blooming salvia called Mexican limelight. Look how giant these flowers are, and they're in the most incredible color combination. This is chartreuse with blue, kind of a blue purple, and it's stunning. So if I use the 3W equation that I was talking about here, the what is I want to create a really stunning combo, drawing attention even more to that gorgeous salvia. So the second W is where. Where would I do this? Well, I would do it at the feet of this shrub. It's a tall shrub. It's kind of open and airy. I would plant it at its feet. And the what component is I want to choose something in a complementary color, something that really wakes the eye up. And so I'm not going to create a color echo like I did in the first example, where I used reds to create that harmonious effect. I want to wake the eye up, so I'll use the color wheel. And if you choose a color opposite one another on the color wheel, that's a complementary color, and that really has a lot of visual energy. And so in this case here, I've got the blue. I'm going to choose something in the yellow family. And in this instance, I'm going to choose a fall blooming crocus. They come in lots of colors. Yellow is one of them. I would probably plant that. It's low growing, plant it at its feet. Or I might even choose a yellow stunbergia, another warm climate fall bloomer. So either one would be a great choice to really create a dynamic combination in the fall. And finally, I want to talk about something a little bit different here. And it's this little skinny strip I have growing between this gorgeous giant granite boulder and this little narrow strip of lawn. What I have is this narrow strip. It's probably 3 inches. And so I need something to grow in there and look pretty. And I want it to look pretty in the fall. In the spring and summer, I have plenty to look at. I have some columbines and I have some tiarella, etc. But in the fall, it's pretty blank here. Now, it may not look blank because we're doing this a little reverse this time. And I'm showing you the foliage first. And this is my fall blooming cyclamen, and it's called an ivy leaf cyclamen, otherwise known as cyclamen hedera. And that's because its leaves look like ivy. They're stunning. But they don't make their appearance until long after the flowers do. And this is what the flowers look like. It will be bare soil, and then all of a sudden these tall, well, not that tall, they're probably 4 inches, but tall stems of beautiful pink flowers appear, and it's like they know the second fall is going to arrive. It might still be hot outside. They don't care. They're on a timeline, and they'll make their appearance about a week before the first day of fall. Fantastic. No foliage at all, just the flowers. And then the flowers die away, and then got this gorgeous foliage here that lasts all through the winter. And so that's my third favorite warm season bulb that blooms in the fall.